How is everyone doing? Welcome to the Sports 2.0 Network for another episode of Shot Clock Violation. I know you guys must be wondering, where is your normal host, Grant Mitchell? He is in Colorado right now, and as one of the two-time champions on this show, I feel like I am a perfect replacement to be the host of this show. Maybe we'll have a new time winner on one of our guests today, but enough about me. Let's get into our contestants. We have Akshay Kumbar, Ryan Godzian, Amber Williams, and Jaya Williams joining me today on the show. I'm excited to finally be able to see and choose who I think should be the winner. I have my different opinions than Grant usually every week. So I think they should have a different dynamic to the show. Maybe we'll see something, a little switch up. Someone else will come away with the victory, but I'm excited to get into it. How is everyone feeling?
Good, great.
All right, before we get into any of the questions, do not forget to subscribe to the Sports 2.0 Network. We have constant content pumping out for you guys, whether it's this show where we're talking about multiple sports, our betting shows in the morning. Jaya does her morning sports report. We have a ton of sports content for you guys coming out, so just stay tuned for that. And we'll get into the first round right away here. First question I wanted to ask you guys today is going to the Diamond, and specifically the AL East Division, the American League East Division. It's a close one. The Rays, Red Sox up there at the top of the division, but they could see some competition from the guys at the bottom. So I was going to ask you guys who will win the AL East Division. We will start with Jaya. You are on the clock.
I'm going to have to go ahead and go with the Tampa Bay Rays here. They've taken over the division lead by the slimmest of margins, but overall, I feel like they are the strongest. The Rays have a lot of good young pitchers, and their performance has been really strong overall this season, especially since they're just coming off the All-Star break. The Rays are just a different team than they were before the All-Star break, and they certainly historically know how to close out a season. I mean, we saw it last year when they rode it all the way to the World Series. Despite the fact that they didn't win that game, that fact that they even made it shows that, they know how to go in there and get the job done. So overall, I'm going to have to go with them as the strongest team, and I expect that they'll be able to win this American League East Division.
Yeah, the Rays were able to take over the division with the 3-game sweep of the Red Sox this past weekend. We will throw it over to you, Amber. What are your opinions on this AL East race? You are on the clock.
Yeah, so I'm going to agree with Jaya on this one. It has got to go to the Tampa Bay Rays. Of course, the Yankees and the Blue Jays have a very powerful lineup, and I could see them trying to creep to the top. But I've got to still go with the Tampa Bay Rays because they picked up Nelson Cruz a couple weeks ago. And, he has a 436 career homers, 7-time All-Star. He's a huge asset against their left-handers. I think that's going to come into play majorly for the remainder of the season. And, of course, they have rookie sensation Wander Franco. And, this year he's already had 14 RBIs and 3 home runs. And I can see him specifically being the main person to lead this team to the number 1 of division. Of course, they're right there close with the Red Sox, only 1 win away from going behind them, but I still definitely have to go with Tampa Bay Rays for this one.
Yeah, I like you mentioning Wander Franco. He has been a big piece coming into their lineup after he was called up just a few months ago. He's really started to pick it up recently, especially in that Red Sox series that I mentioned. Ryan, we'll throw it over to you with the same question. Are you going to take a different route than the two girls, or are you going to stick with the Tampa Bay Rays?
I am going to take a different route. If you were going to ask me a few days ago the same question, I would have to agree with Jay and Amber. But I don't know if you guys have seen the news, but the starting pitcher for the Rays, Tyler Glasnow, underwent Tommy John surgery, which will put him out till 2023. I think it's a huge loss for the Rays. Not sure why nobody's talking about it enough, but I'm going to have to go with the Yankees. They've been 7-3 in their last 10 games. Baseball, in my opinion, just like any other sport, has a lot to do with the momentum. When a team, especially in the division, has another injury to a major player, the teams kind of towards the bottom get kind of some hope and they elevate their game. So not only will it hurt the Rays, I think it will lift the Yankees and Red Sox confidence, but because the Yankees are so hot, I'm going to go with the Yankees.
All right. I figure Akshay might have a different opinion on that. I'm not totally sure how I feel about the Yankees, but Akshay, I think you'll go a different route as well. Who are you going to take in this AL East?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Boston Red Sox here. I know that as of late, they've had some starting pitcher struggles, which has definitely hurt them in the past couple of games, especially in that series against the Rays. But they play the Rays 10 more times this season, and I think they actually play them next week as well. So this weekend with the Blue Jays and then the Rays coming up is going to be really big for them. I think they'll take advantage of it. I think they'll close the gap. It's a very narrow lead. I really think that this AL East race is just between the Red Sox and Red Sox and Rays. So I think whoever can win those 10 games between those two teams can win it. I think the Red Sox have a really good chance, and I think they know what they need to do. Alex Cora is a winning manager, so he can definitely get those Red Sox in the right groove going into the playoffs as well.
Yeah, I like what you said there. I mean, you mentioned it. Starting pitchers have been a struggle for them. They failed to go out and get a significant starting pitcher at the trade deadline. Unlike other teams like the Dodgers, just picking up more starting pitchers with Max Scherzer. So that's something that Red Sox really missed out on. But they still definitely are in the heat of the race right now. Only one game back, as one of you guys said, in the division lead. So heading into the next question, I know we had a similar question to this last week, but it's been the biggest sports news of the past few weeks. We were talking about the Olympics, and we're going to go into the best storyline of the Olympics so far. We had a question similar to it last week, but obviously we've had another week of action that's added on to it. So we will start with you, Akshay, this time. You went last on the AL East. We will start with you on the Olympics. What is your best storyline of the Olympics so far? You are on the clock.
Yeah, so if you didn't know, I am Indian, as you can tell by the name. So watching this past weekend, the Indian national field hockey team was able to get their first medal in over 40 years. So that's just incredible to see, especially with a population the size of India. It's really rare to see a country like that not have all that great Olympic success. But they were able to, take bronze as well, defeating Germany 5-4, who were very heavily favored in that game. So I think that the way that they were able to rally and come from behind in that game was truly special. And I think that this is just a start for Indian athletics, and I think that they're going to go upward from here.
Yeah, I mean, that being able to get that first medal in over 40 years really might start some momentum for them. I know you mentioned it, their population size would seem to mean that they might have a lot of athletes in their country, but they haven't had too much success when it comes to the Olympic stage. Ryan, you went second to last time. We will go to you. What is your biggest storyline of the Olympics? You're on the clock.
I don't know if you guys watched the women's 100-meter breaststroke, but 17-year-old Lydia Jacoby won it. And it's remarkable because she's still in high school. And I think my favorite part about it was the reaction from her friends and family. I don't know if you guys seen it, but they went wild. And I mean, think about it. If one of you guys went to high school with her, I'm sure you would have went wild too. It was incredible to see. She was the first woman to win a gold medal in the swimming events in Tokyo. So that was pretty amazing, especially for her age. But like I said, not only is it amazing for her to win that competition and win gold as a 17-year-old, but my favorite part was the reaction from her friends and family. It was great to see.
Yeah, I also like that. I mean, she put out an amazing performance in 100-meter breaststroke. I mean, the women's swimming for the United States, they've been pretty strong so far. Katie Ledecky came back and did some big things in the pool for the U.S. team earlier this week. Amber, we'll go over to you. I know on the Shattered podcast, you guys, you, Jay, and Allison have been doing a lot of Olympic coverage. What do you think is the best storyline of the Olympics so far? You're on the clock.
For me, my favorite to follow has been women's basketball. They already made history, but they have the opportunity to achieve even more greatness this year. So the U.S. women's team, I don't know how much you guys have been following it, but they've never lost an Olympic group stage. And it's safe to say that they're blowing us away a little bit more than the men are this year. They already have a record for the most gold medals by any women's team sport, but this is their chance to tie the U.S. men's streak of 7 gold consecutively in a row. Asia Wilson has been incredible for them. She's leading the team in points on almost every game. And the United States defeated Australia yesterday, so they are going to head into the semifinals now where they are going to compete against Serbia. And I'm just excited because I think this year we were very underwhelmed by the U.S. men. And I think if the women are able to pull out this gold, which I think they can, it's just going to be an incredible storyline for basketball for the United States.
Yeah, I mean, we always talk about how dominant the U.S. men's basketball team should be, but we haven't really looked too much into how dominant the USA women's basketball team has been. They've destroyed every other country in Olympic play and just international play in general for the past few decades now. So they've been absolutely dominant. Jay, we will head over to you to finish out round one. What is your best storyline of the Olympics? You're on the clock.
Now, you already know we have to talk about Sunisa Lee. Suni Lee has absolutely been killing it at 17 years old. She is the first Hmong American to represent the U.S. in the Olympics. So just that on its own is huge for representing, a group of people that we haven't really seen before, especially for the U.S. But she has gone crazy. She won gold in the individual all around, silver in the team all around, and bronze in on the individual uneven bars. And I don't know, she's just had an amazing, beautiful performance. Gymnastics has always been my favorite thing to watch. And in spite of everything going on with Simone Biles dropping out, I think she really stepped up to the plate. All eyes were on her, and she really performed beautifully. It's really inspiring to me to see stuff like that, to see all these young teenagers in the Olympics, but especially Suni Lee really, really impress us. And I know that her future is bright. So I'd have to say that was definitely my favorite thing to watch.
No, yeah, I love that too, especially with the issues that Simone Biles had to go through. Suni Lee really stepped up for that USA women's gymnastics team and kind of showed that, without Simone Biles, we still have some other stars on the team that can pick up the slack that Simone Biles left off after she had to leave due to some of the mental health issues. We still want to commend Simone Biles for coming back and winning the bronze in the balance beam competition. That was pretty remarkable, especially with what she's gone through the past few weeks. So that'll conclude round one. And this, Grant always mentions that it comes to the time where I have to eliminate one of you. It doesn't feel good that I have to do it now. I always hope it's not me, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way. But I think I'm going to have to eliminate Ryan. Ryan, I'm sorry. One thing you did fail to mention with Lydia Jacoby was that she was actually the first person from Alaska also to win a gold medal. I feel like you left out some details there. And I'm not sure if I agreed with your pick to have the Yankees win the AL East. They're 6 games back. The Red Sox and the Rays have been very strong this year. So I had to go with the other 3. I apologize.
No worries. Honestly, I actually wanted to talk about her being from Alaska. Alaska doesn't get enough love, but I forgot to mention that, so you have a point. But great job, guys. Good luck.
All right, so that'll be it for Ryan. We will move into round 2 with the first question here, or our only question of round 2. And we're going to take it to the hardwood of the NBA and talk about this past week that's had the NBA free agency, which has been a pretty wild one. Trades left and right, big-time signings. And I want to know your guys' biggest impact NBA free agent pickup for the NBA so far this season. Who's going to make the biggest splash, biggest impact for their next team heading into the 2021 season? We will start with Amber in this one. Amber, who's your biggest pickup in the NBA free agency so far?
The Miami Heat picking up Kyle Lowry from my favorite team was probably the biggest pickup that I saw. The Heat got swept in the first round of the playoffs this year. Granted, it was to the would-be NBA champions, but that was still an upsetting defeat to not even get one win. So having Lowry come in on their roster, I don't think they're going to see that happen this year. He is older at 35, of course, but he's still an amazing point guard. And I think he's going to be so beneficial on both ends of the court, but his offensive powers are just going to give the Heat an incredible boost. And, they already still have Jimmy Butler as well and other key players, and I think this is just going to elevate the roster even more. Lowry had about 6 field goals per game with a .436 percentage, and he put up 7 assists per game and 17 points per match. So he is going to add so much to the Heat, and I think that is going to take that team. They're not going to see a sweep again in the first round.
Yeah, it was quite disappointing. I'm not I have this Heat hat, but I'm not the Heat aren't my main team. It's the Washington Wizards. But it was pretty disappointing to see them get swept, especially after they made it to the NBA Finals in the bubble. So Kyle Lowry is definitely a big pickup. We will throw it over to Jay. who do you think is the best NBA free agent pickup so far? I know we had our NBA free agency show a few days ago, but I want to hear your thoughts on who you thought the biggest pickup was. You're on the clock.
Now, I am going with Kyle Lowry as well, especially being down here in Miami and being a huge Miami fan myself. That was a great thing to see. But I think the reason why this is so good for the Heat is not just because of his talent, but how he's going to work with the guys that are already there. I think he's nearly a perfect fit. This was a great trade for them. And I think with him being there, they're definitely back in contention for the championship, especially after reaching the NBA Finals this last year. Landing a veteran point guard like Kyle Lowry and having him join all-stars like Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, they have one of the more imposing starting lineups in the NBA now. And they still have, Tyler Hero coming off the bench. Duncan Robinson got re-signed. So I think his skills and his addition going overall with the dynamic of the team is what's really going to make the Heat a very, very strong team in the East this season. So that was definitely the best trade, if you ask me.
Yeah, Kyle Lowry heading to Miami has kind of been something that's been in the works for a while now. It's always been rumored that Kyle Lowry would make his way out of Toronto, especially after DeMar was traded to San Antonio in that Kawhi Leonard deal. So it was always thought that he would probably not see Toronto at the end of his career. But Akshay, we will throw it over to you to finish out round two, finish out this question. Who do you think has been the biggest impact free agency signing so far?
I'm going to stick with the East here. I'm going to go with Patty Mills signing with the Brooklyn Nets. We saw it in the playoffs last year and even in the regular season with the Nets that they are very thin depth-wise. They have a ton of superstars: Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Joe Harris when he shoots well. So they are very top-heavy, but their bench was very lackluster, especially in the playoffs last year. Mike James was not playing great. Bruce Brown was not playing great. And when we saw Kyrie Irving and James Harden go down, they really didn't have a backup point guard to fill that starting role. So signing Patty Mills, who's been playing backup point guard most of his career in San Antonio and has done really well at it, I think that adds another level to this team. I think it adds another third or fourth option scoring wise, and I think that he can definitely facilitate as well. We see it when he's playing internationally with Australia, and we saw it a little bit at the Spurs as well. So I think that this is a huge pickup for the Nets. I think this is enough to actually get them to the finals.
Yeah, that Nets bench really struggled last season, especially when those big-time guys like Irving, Harden, and KD were not out there. You mentioned it. Mike James was their backup point guard for the Nets, and he was kind of a no-name heading into last season before he got some good playing time with the Nets. So I do think that was a quality signing. We have to head into our final round here, but before that, I have to make an elimination and make it down to our final two. And I think the two that are going to be moving on are the two ladies that decided to go with Kyle Lowry as the best signing. I loved Kyle Lowry to the Heat. Patty Mills, great pickup for the Nets, but I'm not sure if he will have as much impact on the Nets' success as Kyle Lowry will have on the Miami Heat. So that means that we are saying bye to Akshay. Akshay was our winner last week. He's one of the two-time champions along with me. But now that we have Amber and Jaya heading to the finals, we will have another two-time champion to join me and Akshay. So I will see you later, Akshay. We'll see you on the show again soon. You're here every week, so I'll see you then. That means we are headed into our final round, and we have 3 questions in the final round. As always, 24 seconds on the clock for these two ladies to answer them and battle it out to see who will come away with the victory for this week. First question: football is back tonight with the Hall of Fame game between the Cowboys and the Steelers. Steelers are favored at -2, and the over-under is placed at 32.5. Now, it is preseason, but it is football. We'll have football every week now till the Super Bowl comes in February. So I'm excited for that. I love football. But my main question for tonight's game is, will the game stay over or under 32.5 points? Not too much scoring goes on in the preseason, but I'll let you guys debate this one out. Jaya, what do you think? You are on the clock.
Now, it really doesn't matter who's playing. Historically, this game has always been super low scoring. The winning team of the last 5 opening preseason games goes like this: 14 points, 17 points, 20, and then 2 scores of 14 points again in the last couple games. And those were the winning team scores. So if we're going off the trend here, I think it's safe to say that this game is not going over. It's definitely going to go under 32.5 points.
Amber, we'll throw it off to you. Do you agree with Jaya here, or are you going to take the over in this game that historically stays under? You're on the clock.
No contention here. It's definitely the under. It's the first game back of the preseason. Nobody's going to go all out for this. And there's big names that aren't playing for the teams for obvious reasons. Nobody wants to get their stars hurt. So it's definitely going to be under.
Yeah, no Dak Prescott tonight. He's still healing from his injury last week. Jay, we'll throw it back to you to finish, to put your second thoughts into this question. Do you have any other thoughts on why this game will be going under?
Definitely, like Amber mentioned, Dak Prescott's out, but he's not the only one that's even out. There's a lot of really great guys not in tonight for the Cowboys, and it's the first game. I mean, I really don't, there's nothing to talk about here. They're not going over. I think it's just as simple as that. It's not happening.
Yeah, Amber, you didn't disagree. Is there any other, numbers or figures that we need to know that heading into this game on why it should be under?
I don't have any specific numbers, but I mean, this is the first game of the preseason. Preseason games don't matter. I'm sorry. They're just to get a look at what's going on. So this is just literally going to be watching rookies and newbies that are just joining the teams play.
Yeah, rookies and newbies starting off their first NFL seasons, not really knowing the playbooks. Coaches are trying out new plays. So, yeah, I completely agree with you guys. This one is definitely going to stay under. We're going to take it back to the hardwood for our second question, more specifically the Olympic hardwood. And we are reacting to Luka Doncic's history-making Olympics that he had. So I want to hear your guys' reactions. Yes, he was eliminated last night by France in a one-point game, sadly to see the end of Slovenia's run in the towards the gold, but he will still have a chance at the bronze. We'll throw it to Amber first. What do you think about Luka Doncic's run in the Olympics?
I think what's so shocking here is how young he is to be already this incredible. And like you said, it's disappointing we're not going to be able to see him because of like everything that happened with France go for that gold. But, you know, he's been putting up incredible numbers at these Olympics, and he's just so young to be doing this.
Jaya, what are the first things? What are your first reactions when it comes to Luka Doncic and his historic Olympic run?
I think the fact that the team lost doesn't really matter here because his talent spoke for itself. And I don't think people realize how abnormal this really is. You know, Doncic is really in many top 10s and some top 5s. He's the future MVP in the eyes of many, including myself. So just to see him really go win and excel shows that he has the ability. And I don't think that the gold or bronze medal doesn't matter. His talent speaks for itself for sure.
Amber, do you think it does matter that he's not coming away with the gold medal? He does have a chance at the bronze in his next game, but do you think that matters?
No, because like I said, he's young. He's got plenty of time, and he's already proved himself how amazing he was. You know, he was averaging the most points per game of any player in the Olympics, and that 48 points that he put up in that win against Argentina was just absolutely insane. So whether he gets a medal or not, people are going to remember him from this Olympics. He did incredible.
Jaya, final thoughts on Luka Doncic in the Olympics. Do you have anything else to say?
Yeah, like she said, he's very young, and I think that we all know what he can do. Would it have been great for him to go home and take the gold? Yes. Would I have loved to see that? Of course. But I don't think that anyone's saying that because they didn't win the gold, that Luka Doncic is trash. Anybody with eyes knows that this man is here and he's ready to go, and he has a very bright future.
Yeah, I mean, you guys both mentioned it. 48 points in that opening game versus Argentina in group stage. Last night he put up, I believe, 16 points, 18 rebounds, and 10 assists. Some other abnormal numbers, especially for someone his age. He was undefeated in international play with Slovenia up until their loss last night. So great stuff coming from Luka Doncic. I expect him to be heavily in the MVP race coming into this NBA season next year. Last question, we will stick with Olympic basketball. We mentioned the women's national team earlier in the show. Now we are talking about the men's and their quest for a gold medal. They beat last night. They won their game to head into the finals that they will be facing France, who beat them in the first group stage. What are your guys' thoughts on how the men's basketball team will fare in this gold medal game? Will they win? Jaya, you'll get your first go at it.
Well, my answer is I hope so. And they better, because we always have. I think it's very shocking that we're even in a position to where we have to ask these questions. You know, since 2005, we've always been able to get the gold. And I get that it's a little different this year. We didn't have some stars, but we still have talent on that court. So my answer is yes, I expect them to. I think that is the standard for this men's U.S. team.
Amber, we'll throw it over to you. I'm hoping you, I mean, I don't think you'll disagree. I mean, we're all going to be rooting for the United States team, but do you think France has any shot in this game?
So it does not surprise me at all that they made it to the final. Yeah, they had a bunch of bumps, but like Jay said, they're just too incredibly powerful to not make it here. I definitely see them taking it. You know, France is a beast of a team. They did just take down Doncic, but I still see it going to the United States for this. I think we're going to get us our consecutive next goal.
Yeah, we'll probably be seeing another next gold, but I mean, you got to be scared of this France team. They beat us in the group stage. Evan Fournier had a new deal in NBA free agency going to the Knicks. He's probably riding high off of that. He had 20-something points against the United States men's team in that group stage game. If the U.S. is to lose, France is to win, do you guys have any like quarrels as to why the U.S. would lose this game? Jay, we'll throw it to you.
I think they've just really been struggling to figure out their dynamic throughout this entire series. And I mean, obviously we lost to France the first time, so should we lose again, I think it shows that they didn't make the proper adjustments and changes that they needed to make. And that really does fall on Popovich too. If they don't make those tweaks and make those changes, then we are going to lose again, unfortunately.
Amber, what do you think it comes down to? I know we both said that the U.S. will most likely come away with the victory here, but if they are to lose, what do you think would be the reasoning for that?
Of course, not making the proper adjustments, especially when they already know how this France team plays. But also, I think that would be them kind of over expecting how they're going to perform. If they just assume, if they go into the game just thinking, oh, we're going to win because we're Team USA, then they're going to lose because they're not actually putting in the work.
Yeah. I would hope they don't think that, because clearly they haven't been able to do so. They don't have the right to be cocky right now.
All right, that'll close out our final question for the final round. It was good to see Jaya and Amber back in the final. It was an all-women's final. It's always nice to see. And now it comes to the time where I have to choose our winner. But before I do that, do not forget to subscribe to the Sports 2.0 network. Like I said earlier in the show, lots of great content pumping out. But as for the winner, I think I'm going to have to go with Jaya, who was our first-time winner, and she will now be joining me and Akshay as a two-time winner of the show. Amber, I'm sorry, you guys agreed on the last three questions, so it kind of came down to who had the better arguments there. I felt like Jaya brought a little more energy on the USA men's basketball topic, as well as the over/under in the Hall of Fame game. So I'm going to go with Jaya to be our next two-time champion, joining me and Akshay. Jaya, any thoughts on your victory? Any congratulatory to Amber? What do you have to say?
Definitely congratulations to my shattered co-host. It was good. I'm glad we're on the same page mentally, but I already work together every single Tuesday. But yeah, it's long overdue. Another championship is long overdue. I had a lot of fun tonight. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, there's a slight drought there where you didn't go. You won the first one, but then you had a few where you make it to the finals, maybe a few first round exits. So it's nice to see you back on top. But I know I'll be back next week to take that crown away from you again. And I know Amber might be coming at your neck because she wants to also be a two-time champion with us and Akshay. So that'll be it for the shot clock violation. Shout out to our producer behind the scenes, Allison Park. She always does great for us. And we will see you guys next time.